Hey guys, welcome to the 21st episode of the Learning Podcast. And if you're unsure, it's a Singaporean podcast dedicated to learning something new from every single guest on this show. And today I have a classmate that I met at NUS Business School. Her name is Veron. And yeah, say hi, Veron. There are a few reasons why I think this conversation might be useful to someone out there. Veron, right now, she was from the NUS Business School, and I think it's meaningful to be able to discuss our experience in how it was like in business school, whether it was useful perhaps in our working world right now, and her general thoughts on her education from NUS Business School. The second reason why I think this might be interesting is that Veron currently works in hospitality industry. So when it comes to the hotel industry, right, I have no idea. I have no idea about the industry, but I know there's a lot of nitty-gritty things that goes behind the scene that perhaps goes unnoticed and perhaps underappreciated. So maybe if you're ever interested in going into the hospitality industry, or at least just developing a top-line awareness of what this industry means, right, I think this conversation might be helpful to someone out there. The third reason why I think this podcast will be helpful is that Veron is an avid traveler, a solo backpacker, and she likes traveling a lot. And I think that solo traveling I'm not sure whether it's a sexist thing or what, but I think traveling alone as a lady, right, or a woman alone in like overseas, outside Singapore, right, because I'm traveling alone myself sometimes, I feel very scared already, and yeah, I think it's interesting to hear your stories in how you decided it's something worth doing, and perhaps what are the kind of things that people should look out for, because sometimes I see articles out there, maybe once in your life you should travel alone once in your life to get that perspective, to get that serenity and calmness, to be with yourself, if that's kind of your thing. I do think it's important to be able to irrelevant. Veron, for those listeners that don't know who you are, could you give a very quick introduction of what you're currently doing?
Okay, hi, my name is Veron, and right now I'm currently working in a hotel in Singapore. So prior to this, I was in NUS Business School, and that's how I met JJ. Before this, I was studying in Polytechnic, doing a diploma in hospitality and tourism management. So during my time in TP, I went for a 6 months overseas internship to Mauritius. Yeah, that was the first time I had on the ground hospitality experience. Yeah.
Mauritius,
Yeah. Okay, Mauritius.
Okay, what do you do as an intern in Mauritius?
Okay, so I was working for this all-inclusive resort, and what we do there, it ranges a lot. So for example, I can have my day job in that department. So for example, if I work in a kids club, right, so I have to take care of the kids and then just entertain them and all. And when it comes to lunchtime or dinner time or even in the evening, I have to be socializing with the guests, so have meals with them. So just imagine yourself going up to a stranger's table and strike out a conversation every day.
But it sounds quite nice though.
Yeah.
Are you the kind of person? Do you need to be do you consider yourself as an extrovert or introvert to be able to do this job? And how is it like approaching strangers of what different nationalities?
Different nationalities, definitely. And so, having lived in Singapore my entire life, when I went overseas to do the internship, it was the first time I feel out of place, because in Singapore, as Chinese, we are the majority, right?
Yes.
And then when I went to Mauritius, people there mainly speak French, and Chinese is the minority.
Yes.
So suddenly I felt that, is this how
it feels like to be discriminated or be part of the minority?
To be part of the minority,
okay.
And to be also stereotyped. So for example, like people will just think that, because you look Chinese, so you must be Chinese, and you should know how to be very good. No, not kung fu.
Okay, not the kind of.
Yeah, but you must be very good at math and IT and stuff like this.
Then,
so they have this kind of stereotype, yeah.
So these are the kind of remarks that people give you, is it?
Yeah.
And how do you respond to it?
Not everyone is that informed, and not everyone is exposed to different cultures like us, to how we are in Singapore, right? So it's okay. I mean, over time they will start to understand.
So was it at this point that you realized that I have a interest in hospitality, and that's why it is something that you pursue now? Or how did that transition go, like from going from TP all the way to NUS Business School and then being in the hospitality industry?
Okay, so from TP, I initially wanted to be a chef.
Oh, chef?
Yes.
Do you still cook? Do you cook?
Well, I cook, but I don't cook very complicated stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't
So
have to cook complicated stuff.
no, as in like you know how some of my friends are just very good at cooking, so they will have lots of condiments and stuff like this. But whereas for me, my kind of cooking is the oven or the
Simple stuff can
Yeah.
taste nice, right?
correct. So initially, I after graduating from secondary school, I wanted to go into culinary and catering management
Yes.
in TP.
Mm.
But then somehow I was told that like okay, you should pursue hospitality instead.
Mm.
And then I thought okay, I will try.
Who told you that?
My mom.
Your mom as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you find the advice? Taking advices from parents. I think it's like okay. I just sorry to sidetrack, but I think it's quite an interesting discussion because my cousin became a accountant. Like,
Okay.
because his mother told him to be an accountant.
Oh,
Then
okay.
right now, not to say that he hates it,
Mm-mm.
but he felt that it wasn't something for him.
Okay.
But I know that I don't know whether you relate to this, but how did you find the advice that your parents gave you in terms of the career choices that you wanted to be? Because understandably, being a chef in Singapore, I must say, is for a top line awareness, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that taken into account, or it was just an advice you took from her and just went to TP?
She said that it's better for you to learn about hospitality so that it's broader, not just about cooking in the kitchen itself. And then I thought, okay, so I will try. And I went into the course and I realized that, I really like learning about tourism subjects. So hospitality is just one part of tourism, right? And there will be so much more different sectors in tourism itself, such as food and beverage or even transportation.
Can you give us like a 101 summary of what hospitality means?
Hospitality, okay, usually when you talk about hospitality, people will just think of hotels.
Yeah, that's the only thing I think of.
Yeah, and that is not wrong also.
Yes.
But there is also other factors such as like other accommodation, hostels, or even resorts and stuff like this. Yeah. So, but the thing is that I see it from the tourism point of view, not just hospitality itself, because hospitality is linked to tourism, right?
Yes.
And so when I was studying it, I was exposed to not just the hotel side, but also the F&B side.
Yes.
So for example, like we get to learn how to develop menus and
So part of being a chef as well, lah.
yeah, so
sort of.
correct. So I thought, okay, maybe I cannot be a chef, but I can learn how to do the management things,
Yes,
which
yes.
is nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how is the curriculum in TP like?
Curriculum TP.
How different was being in Polytechnic compared to after that when you went at the NUS Business School? Because I have never been to Polytechnic,
Okay.
so can you give like paint a picture of how is it like?
Okay.
Like the classmates you have, the culture and everything, or what
Yeah.
general thoughts do you have about TP in general?
Okay, so generally a poly education and a uni education is very different in terms of, let's say, number one, the people, right? In poly, you get people from all sorts of background, just like how it is in uni as well. However, in NUS Business School, I find that people are very, very competitive.
Competitive.
Yeah, not to say that Temasek Poly students are not competitive. It's still competitive, but in terms of if you look at it from a percentage wise, you don't see so many competitive people all at once in Polytechnic.
Yes.
And this brings me back to one point that my friend was talking to me about. So there was one time after school, and then I just went to meet my friend, and I was just telling him, because he was my poly friend as well, and I said, hey, like I see that there are differences between Polytechnic and uni. So it's very different. And he said that because in Polytechnic, right, or rather after O levels, that is the point of diversion,
Yes.
whereas for university it's the point of congregation.
Okay.
And then I thought, wow, that makes sense, because being able to go to NUS, you see your classmates around you. They are maybe the valedictorian of this particular course, the gold medal, silver medal, or
The best of the best.
Yes, the best of the best, the cream of the cream. That's right. And so definitely the competition and the dynamics and the classroom culture is totally different. So for example, in poly, right, class participation is around 10%.
Okay.
There will be people who participate, but most of the time the general vibe in the classroom is that it's okay lah, I don't need to talk so much, it's fine. Whereas in NUS you see that even if it's just 10%, people will fight to talk to the prof. Yeah.
So is that the biggest difference?
No, the curriculum as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So in uni, it's very much independent learning, whereas for poly, teachers will give you assignments that are not so broad based, and they can break down the smaller piece of chunks of questions. But then again, it also makes sense because it's university, right? We are encouraged to be more independent. Yeah. So there is a difference between the amount of guidance that teachers provide to you as well as the assignments that are being tasked. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when I see poly students going to NUS, right, they are the cream of the cream, literally. That's why I really have a lot of respect. Like, you guys need to be consistent, literally, for 3 years to get that decent GPA to get into a local university, right? Is there any kind of tips that you'll give to let's say, if there's a poly student out there, right, who is hearing this conversation, right? What kind, in a very macro terms, because I know different courses, engineering, hospitality, is all very different, but what kind of advice will you give such a person who is someone in poly intending to go into university, or do you even think that it's worth going to university now that you have been through it?
Okay.
Now, sorry, I always ask multi-layered questions. Right?
It's okay.
Start with
So that's like peeling an onion, right?
Yeah. It's like peeling an onion because I want to ask deeper questions.
Sure, no problem. Okay.
Yeah. What kind of top line advice would you give to a poly student?
I would say that poly is the time where you okay, at least for me personally, I felt that in uni I dedicate more time to my studies because it's more abstract, it's difficult, right? And so I don't have so much time for CCAs, even though I did join CCA in my first year. Yeah. So for poly students wise, if you can, try to be exposed to different types of CCAs and just go out and make friends. And don't be afraid to take opportunities when it comes, even if you feel that, I don't know whether can I take it or not, but I just try. Yeah. And also ask questions in class. Don't be afraid of feeling that you might be stupid if you ask questions, or how people will judge you just because you might answer questions. Yes, correct. But then again, there's always this notion, right? There's this quote that says, there's no stupid questions in this world. But then obviously there will be a debate behind it.
Yes.
Then again, how can we say that everyone thinks the same way and everyone have the same train of thoughts? So what might be stupid to one might not be stupid to the other.
It's relative.
Yeah, it's relative. It's definitely relative. So yeah, just don't be afraid to ask questions and participate in more CCAs. And join events. So when I was in domestic poly, I was doing hospitality, right? And then we have a lot of opportunities to participate in events such as conference to help out as for the event, or even participate in let's say the PA event at the promontory.
Yes.
Yeah, so just participate, just help out, because while you're helping out, right, you also have this opportunity to be exposed to what is going on the ground. What you learn in school is good, and we also have assignments which get us out of the classroom to do field work. That in itself it's a very good starting point. However, it should not stop you from learning outside the classroom, and this is the reason why I really enjoy solo travel so much. Yeah.
So moving on to the second part, right? Like simply talking about more exposure, right?
Yeah.
Having went through poly and having went through university, do you think how did NUS Business School supplement you in your general education that has helped you to where you are today? Or is it too difficult to think of one? Or it's still complex, is it? Or to be very honest, it didn't really help at all.
Okay, so this is also another dinner conversation I had with my fellow NUS Business School classmate. And we were just saying that okay, so now we graduated and then we are onto the real working world now.
Yeah.
How does a uni education helps us in whatever we do? And in uni, what you learn is a lot on theory.
Yes.
Correct? And I was also thinking, okay, so how does this theory helps me in translating things that I can do in my company?
Yes.
Initially, I couldn't find a very direct link.
Yes.
But slowly, I realized it's the train of thoughts. Yeah, like how did uni train us to be deeper thinkers? How do you approach a problem and use certain frameworks? So there is some methods to it which you can apply from school, but more importantly, it's also self-discipline that I I feel that it's strongly instilled in uni. Of course, teachers will not be there to say like, oh, okay, this is the deadline is coming soon. You have to, submit your homework and all. But because in uni, everyone is so competitive and everyone have so many things to do, right? Even let's say arranging a project meeting itself, it can be difficult.
Yes.
So what happens if let's say your schedules cannot meet, and then what are you going to do to have this meeting? And this is what is happening at work also, right? Because everyone have different schedules. So in a way, uni is a slice of introduction to what real world is for me. Yeah.
Just that. What percentage would you think is accurate to the real working world?
Percentage.
Okay. Honestly, maybe it's pointless to ask this question, but.
I think what you're trying to say is that how much can we extrapolate uni setting to work setting, right?
Yeah.
I would say that uni is still a bubble. It is still the school. It's still very well protected, and your role as a student is to do well in your work. I mean, like your studies, and then to work well with people for group projects. That's it, right? Whereas in real life in the corporate world, it's not just this. There are other considerations as well. Yeah.
Because some people, right, I have a few friends that are like really like against university, right? Wow, this piece of shit, like I didn't really learn anything, right? Because you're talking about university being a bubble, right?
Yeah.
Like I have great respect for poly students that go directly into the working world, right? I mean, even within my colleagues, right? Like for some companies, how they view degrees, right, and polytechnics, like there's no difference. That might be unfortunate for me, but I'll just regard it. The market is a market is a market. How much value can you bring to the company, right? So, if you ask me honestly, sometimes it might be good to just jump into that working world because there's no bubble in the sense that uni provides you. What would you say to those people that, or like my friend who is very against university, he feels that people after Polytechnic or after any kind of education should just go into the working world because too much theory can maybe inflate your ego in a very different way. I'm not sure if that's something that undergraduates go around carry with us, but I must say I'm working alongside I have one friend who joined my company. He's a poly. He's from poly, and he holds a senior title than me relatively because he has been working in this industry for about 3.5 years. And yeah, what would you say to those people who, like what I asked Mr. Zaina, what would you say to those people who think that university is really just an artificial construct of the real working world? To a certain extent, I do agree. What would you say to those people who think? Oh my gosh, I'm ranting. What would you think? What would you say to those people who think that university is not that useful?
Well, I don't think that one size fits all works for everyone. Yes. So maybe for this particular person or a group of people, or rather for a particular industry, if you feel that education is not that important in terms of your career progression, okay, no problem, I respect that. However, we also have to take into account other industries such as finance, which I am aware that you need to have very good grades in order to
technical abilities,
yes, definitely, or even like computer science. Like there's so much talk about this AI thing and how there is a very strong demand for people like this, right? Yes. Of course, you can learn it by yourself, but then who is to say that everyone have the same self-discipline to persist and continue through this? Yeah. So, while definitely work experience is important as well, sometimes intelligence also shows different point of view, and this can be trained or it can be uncovered through university. Yeah. So for example, like last time I used to just think that, oh, okay, if things are like that, then okay, maybe it's just like this. And only when I went to university and I started interacting with more students, especially from the arts faculty, I realized that they have very deep thoughts.
Yeah, and very deep thoughts.
Yes, very, very deep. And even though in business school we have discussion in class, right? It's a different kind of conversation altogether if you were to talk to an art student, especially students from political science or philosophy. So I feel that it is okay if, let's say, you want to go and explore the world, take a gap year before coming back to uni, or if you feel that like uni is not important for me, I don't need it, sure, go ahead. However, what I realize in real world is that even in situations where, for example, a manager does not need a degree, they have the experience, you will see that once they reach a certain career level, right, they will still go for classes.
Yes.
Yes.
Upskilling on their own.
Upskilling, yes. And sometimes they go for training by the company, or maybe going for just like an additional diploma on their own. So the fact that people go for all these things, it says something as well. Yeah.
What regrets do you have from NUS Business School? Any regrets? Now that you have finished, that chapter is closed.
Yes, the chapter is closed. That was.
I'll think like some university student out there as well. Like when I ask these kind of questions, like one regret that I have, right, is not taking part in enough case competitions, because I think case competitions are actually really good. But for you, what regrets do you have?
I did not take part in a case competition, and I feel that yes, that is something that I probably should have dedicated more time towards as well. And
any other regrets?
Networking, I would say.
Networking, how so?
Networking not in terms of, let's say, oh, there's a formal business event, so we can go there and network, but more of in terms of between peers. Yeah, because if you think about it, right, in uni, you have this group of people who are very good in certain areas, and then once you graduate and once you start work, you don't get to have this kind of setting anymore.
Yes.
Where everyone who...
A congregation of all the talented people together.
Okay, well, I mean, like, there will still be a congregation of talents in workplace, just different talents, right?
Yes.
Different types of thinking and stuff like this. Maybe for a certain industry, it might be higher proportion.
Percentage. Oh,
yeah, maybe lah. I don't know.
Dangerous, around.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so as in, because that's what I see for a certain industry, and that's what I hear. But then again, I'm not in the industry, so I cannot say whether if that is true or not lah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for example, like I was doing this project with this particular NUS business student, and then I realized that her father was in this company and founded this company, which I felt that, wow, this is so interesting. Like, imagine she's one of those, and then there are also others who are around. So if, let's say, you really network well, right, these people can also give you insights and help you better learn about certain industries too, which you might not be able to do so easily, especially once you started working. Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's a network.
But when it comes to sometimes I'm very skeptical of the intention sometimes. Like, you get to know someone because their father or parents are in charge of like a big organization. But what is the best thing about NUS Business School?
Best thing?
One best thing. I know we talked a lot of good things about NUS Business School. What's one best thing about NUS Business School or NUS?
It trains me to think deeper. Yeah.
What's the worst thing about NUS?
Because there's a lot of independent learning, right?
Yes.
And for example, when you're tasked to do this project and you're really, really struggling.
Okay.
And then you have to spend a lot of time trying to understand what it means.
Yeah.
But there's comfort in that, because when I start speaking to my friends and I realize that actually I'm not alone. They're also struggling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I may share like Veron and I were groupmates in one of the modules and it was this module called MKT 4421. It's the hardest module I ever took in my life.
40% class part, by the way.
Yeah, it's quite tough lah. But was that the most difficult class for you?
One of the most difficult class, yes.
What's the most interesting class have you ever took at NUS Business School?
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing by who?
Oh. It's an American male prof, Asian American male prof.
Daniel
He, yes, Daniel He, correct, yes.
Yeah, I also took his class. So what do you like about his class?
Okay, I like how he always shares very interesting examples in class. I like that his class is very interesting because you get to see things that's happening in the real world that is relevant, so it does not feel so theoretical. At the same time, he also makes class part not scary.
Yeah.
It's 35%.
Yeah.
But then he does not make you feel that like, oh, very pressured to speak, or even if you say something that you might not be sure of. Like,
no matter what you say, he will like substantiate your points to a certain extent, and that's what I like. Like, it's like a very safe space, very motherly feel, is it?
Yeah.
Not like some class part where like the prof will like, what shit are you talking about? Those kind of things, is it?
He's very approachable, I would say also. Yeah.
Any other memorable classes from NUS Business School?
Memorable, I would say services marketing.
Why?
Because
Because you're in the hospitality industry,
Yes, I'm in the hospital industry.
So it was more applicable.
Very applicable. And also when I was going through the class, I feel like, okay, it's very easy to understand, very easy to absorb. And that was something that I always feel when I was in Temasek Poly. I was studying something that I like, that's something that's very easy to just digest. And so being able to do that again in NUS, I was like, I can understand it. Yeah, like, and so one of the things that my prof talked about was the service blueprint.
Yes.
So basically, a service blueprint is just think of it as a flow chart, a very, very detailed flow chart from, let's say, pre-arrival of the guest all the way until departure. And then when you look at the blueprint, right, you realize that there are so many coordination between departments, which as a guest or even just as a visitor to the hotel, you will not think of. And then I just thought that, like, wow, it's so nice that we can put all these kind of processes into
optimizing the whole process.
Yes, optimizing the whole process, correct, and then to document it. And then, so one day when I was talking to my manager at work, I just started talking about this service blueprint, and he was a bit impressed. I was like, oh, okay, so...
it's not something that they have used previously, is it? To be more aware of what every guest experiences.
They are using it, but he's just very surprised that, okay, someone at your age actually know about a service blueprint being existent. Yeah.
Okay, so like... From NUS Business School, right? How do you decide, or when do you decide that hospitality was something that you wanted to do after graduating? At which point did you started applying, or how was your job application like? My job application was like very hectic and like all over the place. But how was yours?
I think I'm very fortunate because I am part of this scholarship program.
Oh, okay, you're a scholar.
That's just the name, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. So you were a scholar, is it? All the way?
Yes, I was.
Which scholarship were you under?
It was a scholarship between the government and the private sector. And then, so my company, the current company, is the one that's providing this.
Oh.
Yeah,
so you're a scholar or it's not a midterm scholarship, right?
No, it's not.
Any tips for people who are interested in applying for scholarships?
Okay, yes. So be passionate about what you are applying for. Know what you are getting yourself into, because there is a bond.
How do you know what you're getting yourself into? Personally, I have many friends, right, that have broke their bonds. Like, I have this engineer friend, right, I won't say what company or whatever, like I think we were year 2. Okay. Then during our summer holidays, right, then we went for internships, right. Okay. Then 1 week into the internship, then I met him suddenly met him. Then I was like, he didn't even say hi to me. The first thing he said to me was, I'm going to break my bond. Then I was like, oh shit, but he's getting scholarship. So in terms of tips that you could give to someone to know what they're getting themselves into, because in my perspective, I find it very difficult to know at such a young age that this is what you want. What kind of advice would you give to people applying for scholarships? Okay.
It's difficult to even choose my course of study when I was in poly. It's a very scary decision at the age of 17 or 16 when you have to make a choice in terms of what to study, and this could possibly be your very, very first job after graduating from poly, right? So I had the experience of the internship when I was in TP. So then afterwards, I was looking for scholarships online, and then I thought that, so this company provides scholarship and it's in the hospitality industry, and it helps that I study about hospitality, so at least you have some background knowledge. So if, let's say, for someone who wants to just totally venture into a different industry, let's say maybe you're studying business, you want to go into design, right? Obviously, that's a very, very big jump. And what I would suggest is that to talk to people who are already in the industry. Talk to them, find out more. And if not, if you are, let's say, unable to speak to anyone, just go and look at the job description of roles. That will give you a better understanding. That might not be the whole picture, but at least you know something.
How has it been like in the hospitality industry since you started working for about 1 year now? What exactly do you do?
Okay, so my job title, it's supposed to be a receptionist. Okay. Right, but then I was very fortunate to be able to given opportunities to do other things such as management projects. So I help my manager with any projects that comes down from the management, and then we try to think of ways to better enhance the guest experience and to have better TripAdvisor reviews.
Do you have any stories in my experience, like when it comes to customer service standards, I don't exactly think like Singapore is the top or number one place relative to maybe other countries. I don't know. Because my mom is in the customer service industry, she does a lot of training, and she says like perhaps it's in the culture of Western countries to be more polite, more to provide better customer service in a sense. And what do you think are of the standards of customer service in Singapore in general? I mean, not even in the hospitality industry, but just customer service. Because hospitality, customer service is a big part of what you do.
Very big, yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's just talk about the contrast that I feel between Singapore and overseas.
Yeah.
Whenever I backpack overseas, let's say I go to some Southeast Asia country like Indonesia, right? Excuse me. So people are just very happy and very warm to you, to greet you and stuff like this. Whereas in Singapore, when I come back, let's say I go to a cafe, suddenly I feel like, oh, okay, the warm feeling is gone.
Okay. Yeah. Ironic, right? When you come back home,
yeah,
you're supposed to have that feeling when you're home, right?
But no lah, don't have. Sometimes people just like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, welcome back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but then again, customer service, it depends on the company, right? So some companies, they focus a lot on training staff to be very attentive to the guest needs and to anticipate what they need without having them to say first. So it very much depends on the company's culture, whether are they very focused on guests, are they very focused on customers or not. Yeah.
So do you have any you would say horror stories of customer service in Singapore? I mean, not necessarily about Singaporeans, but do you have a story to tell in terms of being in the hospitality industry in the past year? Interesting stories that you could share.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that I learned in customer service is that you never say no.
Oh, never say no. Okay, number one.
But there will be times you have to say no, and then you have to be creative and find ways to say no in a very nice way. So very often, right, what we do is, let's say someone asks for something, you know that you really cannot do it, so you try to tell them in a way that that's not too harsh, right? So it's a gentle no, but at the same time you have to provide an alternative, so that they feel that like, oh, okay, you're trying. Yeah. So one thing that struck me very, very deeply was when I first started working at this particular hotel. It's a very, very new hotel, and I was part of the pre-opening team. And
the what opening?
Pre-opening.
Oh, pre-opening. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm part of the pre-opening team, and then what happened is that there is just this particular guest asking about, oh, so how much is the room rate for this particular room?
Yes.
And I already knew it in the back of my head, so I just told the person, oh, is this rate? And she was not happy about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I asked my colleague who is more experienced than me. I said, did I say something wrong? Like, is the rate wrong? And my colleague said, actually, no, it's not wrong. And so my colleague went to talk to that guest. So the guest was unhappy because I wasn't searching for the information on the computer. So then that was when I felt like, oh, okay, even though if you know something, right, you still have to show that you're putting
in the effort to find an alternative.
Yes, correct.
I mean, in my line of work, I'm also client facing, so that's where, how to say, you must take care of people's feelings.
Yes, definitely.
And especially in your industry, you must be hypersensitive, right?
Very, very sensitive. Definitely.
Do you have any other kind of advice you give in terms of someone starting out in the hospitality industry? Because for myself, I'm usually a very direct person.
Yes.
And when I go into the line of work that I do, I mean, I'm still to a large extent myself, but there are some things I don't say. I mean, not to say I'm like faking all that, but I package a message in a nicer way to tell people of a particular news. But how do you learn that? Was it something that came naturally to you? Because to me, it was something I struggled with.
It was something I struggled with as well. I'm a very, very direct person.
Yeah.
So, let's say even in NUS Business School, right? Someone asked me a question.
Yeah.
I will just tell you straight back like that. And then I can see that the person is not happy.
Oh, okay.
Right? As in, like, I don't believe in having to sugarcoat my words.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is the truth, right? But then, people don't like to hear the truth. Okay. So if you have to deliver the truth, make it less harsh. And so, it came to me when I was in this particular role, this current role that I'm in, because it's either I face the customers or I have to pick up phones and talk to guests, right? So one thing that helped is that if you tell yourself, no matter how the person react, just don't take it personally.
Yeah.
This is just work, and so just try to be professional and be more aware, like what you say, be more aware of the other party's feelings. Yeah, just sometimes it can be difficult also, like how do you think of the other person when you yourself is struggling, right? But then I thought, okay, if let's say I can overcome this, then it will make me a better and stronger person. Yeah.
Because recently I had this podcast with Mr. Zainal. He's a MP. So I was also talking to him about meet the people session, right? It's exactly what you're saying as well. But truth, like he knows that there's only so much he can do.
Correct.
As an MP. What other challenges? What challenges do you face in the hospitality industry? Like having worked in this industry for 1 year, is there any big macro challenges that you face?
The biggest one that I personally feel, how do you not let people's judgments or emotions affect you too much? Because essentially this is a people-oriented industry, correct? And whether you are facing guests or you are talking to them on the phone or through emails, you just have to be very mindful of how people will feel and react. And as much as possible, we try to be professional, but then again, we also have to recognize that like you cannot possibly do everything. Just try to do your best, and then if let's say you are stuck, just try to get colleagues to help you. And I would say that so far I've been very lucky that I have helpful colleagues. Yeah. So, and recently I started meditating. Yeah. And then I felt that like it helps me to better control emotions and feel more at ease and less anxious when faced with a difficult situation.
I mean, for myself, I do meditate often as well.
Oh, okay.
Like before I came here, I meditated. How do you meditate?
Okay, so long time ago, I did yoga, and then so there's the teacher who will guide you in terms of like, relax your
Breathing,
body,
is it?
yeah, breathing and stuff like this. It worked for a while. Then afterwards, I started doing just like quiet meditation where I just sit down there and try not to think of anything. My mind was
how do you try not to
running.
think of anything? Because when I do, I mean, I think this is the normal part of the process.
It's
whereby
very normal,
you
correct.
realize that your mind is a crazy thing. Like it goes in all directions. Then before you know it, you're just thinking about what breakfast you had yesterday when you're supposed to be meditating, right? And when you pull yourself back into that moment, right, then you realize that, that's interesting. And at the end, it's rather soothing. But when do you pick up the habit of meditating? I mean, you said you or is it on a consistent basis? Because I admit I don't do it consistently.
I wasn't consistent, and I only started practicing it consistently few months ago, because I felt that I just feel that my mind there's a lot of noise in it, and I feel that I need the place and the time to just be quiet. And so one day I just went onto YouTube and searched for relaxing meditation, and there is an audio guide which helps me to better meditate and better relax. And so slowly I try to stop doing that and just sit at a corner and just breathe. It helps. Oh, and another thing that my friend introduced me is sleep meditation. So for those out there who cannot sleep, right, try to play a clip for sleep meditation. It helps you to better relax. So I introduced it to one of my friends, and he said that, it really works. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night. And I was like, that's good. However, don't be too reliant on it.
It sounds like your work is very stressed. So is this why you need to meditate? Is it all?
No,
was it like because of something that's why you meditated, or something that helped you?
It's something that helped me. I feel that personally, let's say if the hotel is very full, right, then we have a lot of guests, and naturally there will be a lot of guest requests and stuff like this. So when I am an introvert, so when you are in a situation that forces you to be with people so often, I just needed an outlet to recharge. And so what I did is I just go backpacking trips, and I'll go like to some island where there's no one, as in not too many people, to recharge. But then again, I think about it, financially wise, I cannot keep doing that also. So I need to find a better option. And my friend introduced me to sleep meditation. Then I thought, besides sleep meditation, is there other forms of meditation that I can do? So I started this. There is this particular meditation. It's called Vipassana.
Okay, what's Vipassana?
Okay, Vipassana is a 10-day meditation where you wake up at 4 a.m.
Whoa, no.
to meditate
shit.
every day, the whole day until 9:30 p.m. So of course there will be breaks in between, like let's say to do chores or in a monastery and stuff like this. I have a friend who went for it.
I have a friend who went for it as well.
So my friend, right, he has a tattoo over here, 4 leaves, And I said, why do you even have, like, why do you even thought of leaves to be tattooed on your arm? And he said, it's because I went for this vipassana, and then I saw the leaves dropping down from the trees. And he said, it reminds him of 生老病死.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that's very deep. Okay.
Yeah, that's quite deep.
Yeah, and then I thought that, oh, okay, so that sounds very interesting. I would like to try.
Where is this place?
There are different places that offers vipassana. Singapore has it as well,
Okay.
but the one that he went for is in Thailand, in Bangkok.
Oh, I think Thailand is like a place to go. One of my friends also went from NUS as well.
Yeah, that's something that I do hope that I can try one
What do you
day.
think of mindfulness in general?
Mindfulness,
Because technically meditation, all this kind of stuff is a part of mindfulness.
Yeah.
I think in NUS, because I went for the NOC Overseas College Program, then we were tasked to help this startup which has an app related to meditation. But yeah, what do you think of mindfulness in general? Do you think that it's there's a stereotype against it? Like whether maybe it's a little bit too hippie for some people, or maybe within our current generation maybe it's more accepted. But what are your thoughts on it when you first heard about mindfulness?
I didn't really understand what mindfulness was when I first encountered it. But I know that there were a lot of talk about self-care these days. Like, oh, you must love yourself, self-care and stuff. It's like just suddenly there's this movement, right? And so I don't know if it's just a phase, but then again, it's for a good cause, to like take care of yourself and all. So I think it's good. And personally, I feel that mindfulness is about awareness, being aware of how you feel, being aware of your thoughts. Yeah, just getting to know yourself better, and what works and what does not work for you.
Do you have any general tips for people that are considering to do meditation?
Try an audio clip.
Audio clips are easier to do instead of just doing it without any aid, is it?
Yes, correct. Because when you do without any aid, and that was what I started doing last time when I first got in touch with meditation, right? I find myself thinking about all sorts of things, like, okay, what should I have for lunch? Should I do this? You know, my mind was just everywhere. It's so difficult. But with this audio guide, right, they will tell you how to breathe and hold your breath for how long and stuff like this.
You just need to listen to it.
You just need to listen to it, yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that in mind because it's not something I do very often. I feel like I only do it when I'm like a little bit stressed out or feeling messed up with my thoughts. Okay, moving on to traveling, right?
Yeah.
Of all the countries that you've been to, right, which is the most memorable as a lady backpacking solo?
Memorable as in the good memory or the bad?
Both. I mean, both are memorable. It can be good and bad. I mean, I'm sure
Okay.
bad memories taught you some lessons in a way, and if you could share, I think it'd be useful to someone out there.
Definitely.
Or if it's good, it's good.
A lot of good memories, but one that really struck me the most was the not so good one, which is 2 years ago I was in London.
Okay.
That was my first time going to London, and I was like, okay, I'm so excited. I'm going to see the museums and all, because I like museums, right? And so I flew to London. The moment once I touched down, I went to my hostel. So after I put my bag in my hostel, I couldn't check in yet because it's still very, very early. I thought that, okay, I'll just go and walk to the museum and have my breakfast there first. So I think it's less than 5 hours after I touched down, and then I got robbed.
Robbed? Oh gosh.
Yeah, and
like how?
So I was just near the British Museum and I was looking at the panel, just looking at the map, right? And then suddenly this man approached me, asking me to help him take photos. And I thought, oh, okay lah, it's just a photo, like it should be okay, right? Yeah. And so early in the morning, so I just thought, okay, so I was helping him to take a photo, and just nice, suddenly 2 men just came up and start saying that, like, oh, excuse me, oh, I want to see your passport, like we are police, like we need to check are you drug trafficking and stuff like this. So basically it's a scam.
Holy shit.
And then by the time I realized that, okay, it's a scam, it's too late, because when I travel, I tend to keep my money in different places, but because my hostel wasn't ready for check-in yet, I brought all my cash with me.
Oh no.
And even though I have a bag, I put it in different compartments as well.
Yeah.
So initially when they asked me to show them, right, I showed them my wallet, which only has £30. They were very persistent. They don't think that this is all I have. And then they keep asking to see more. And then because I was surrounded. So I was like, okay,
Oh shit, that's dangerous.
I was a bit
eh.
scared.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, should I run? But if I run, would I be fast enough
Yeah.
to run?
Oh, that's damn scary. Yeah.
And then, so like, I was very hesitant.
Now, was it in a crowded area? No, it wasn't in a crowded
It
area.
wasn't in a crowded area.
Oh my.
Yeah. And then, so the man who asked me to help him take picture, right? Suddenly he just took out a map and like keep doing, like keep rustling the map and like making lots of noise, like to that two accomplices and saying that like, oh, I don't know what lah. Then afterwards, then I look over, and by the time I look over, I was like, suddenly there's this voice in me like, shit, you shouldn't have looked over.
Then what happened?
And then so like they were like, they took my money and then they just like keep doing this like this and stuff like this. Then don't know why, I think like I want to ask before help. So just nice there was a passerby. So I said, excuse me, can you help me? And then they felt that something was wrong and then they just quickly give me back my wallet and my money. So I have two wallets, right? So they took my second wallet and then they put it back the money. So I thought, okay, it's fine. So I just quickly took the money and I ran. And once I reached the place where there's more crowded, I opened up my money, my wallet I mean. I saw that all my pounds were gone. What's left is only other currencies.
How much was it?
700 pounds.
700 pounds, my gosh.
And so I thought myself, okay, that is the most expensive magic show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is dangerous, eh?
And it's in the morning, just outside the British Museum.
Like, were they locals? Was it like?
Yeah, come to think about it, they're actually not locals based on the accent. Yeah, so I wasn't alert enough. Yeah.
So the lesson is, what would the lesson here be? This is a very painful lesson.
It's painful, but at the same time, it's still not too bad.
Yes, actually, it's really not too bad already.
Yeah, I'm safe. That's why.
I mean, they could have kidnapped you and like, yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, the thing that I was very thankful is that I have friends up in the north.
Yeah.
So my friends just. And I have my phone with me, right? And I have my passport with me, so I just called my friends, and they said, "Okay, never mind. You know what? We'll buy you a train ticket. Just come straight up to the north now." Yeah, so I went.
Oh my god.
Yeah, next time.
Don't be too trusting, is it, when locals come up to you? Is that a lesson?
Well, the first thing is if there's a safe in the hostel, even if it's not time for check-in, put your money inside there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of skepticism about hostels being unsafe and all. But to be honest, hostels actually not that unsafe as what you think. Yeah, so that's number one. Second is try to put money, if let's say you have to carry with you, right? Try to put it somewhere where people cannot have easy access to. Like if let's say you're wearing sneakers, put it into Ziploc bags, put it in your sock or whatever. Yeah.
That's what I do sometimes.
That's what I used to do when I first started backpacking as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, I should have done that. Yeah, then don't be too trusting also. Yeah.
Concerning of more of the good memories that you have of backpacking, what were the top few moments?
Top few moments, it's I would say where it's mainly related to nature. So for example, being able to see a very nice sunset. Yeah. Okay. So a very good one would be when I was in Lombok. Lombok is just situated next to Bali, just 3 hours by ferry, 30 minutes by flight. Yeah. And the flight, I took a flight there from Bali. So it was 30 minutes, right? You guess how much I paid for my flight?
$50?
$30.
$30. It's so cheap.
Yeah, $1 1 minute, not bad, right? Yeah.
I mean, okay, going back, right? Why did you start backpacking? Like, was it something that you wanted to take on yourself, or was it a challenge, or why? Because I think actually it's a lot of Singaporeans also that backpack lah. But but what's your reason to just really see the world, or more as a challenge for yourself to do something that's more foreign?
I would say,
or you like the thrill of really just going out there?
It's a mixture of all these factors. So what happened is that when I first did my internship in Mauritius, right, there were certain days on my off days where I go out alone, and then I realized, actually I like this feeling. So to be independent, and I always thought that I'm an independent person prior to my Mauritius experience, until when I was there in a foreign country, and then I was like, this is what real independence means, like finances, emotions, and like physical safety and stuff like this. Right, so I thought that I like that, and I like the feeling of not having to worry too much about things, because in Singapore, in school you have to start planning for for projects, for things, and
for a career, for
yes,
life.
yes, we are always planning, right? So then for backpacking, I don't have to plan at all. I can just do whatever I want, right? And so because of the Mauritius trip, I thought that okay, I think I want to do this. And so when it's my 21st birthday, my friends are asking me, so do you want to throw a party or not? And I thought, if I throw a party, it's gonna cost a lot of money, right? And how is it gonna be very memorable to me when I look back, let's say 10 years later? So if you look through Instagram, you'll see a lot of people post pictures of very nice decoration, balloons, cakes, and etc.
That's all part of the 21st package, right?
Correct. And then when I found out how much it actually costs to do that, right?
How much does it cost?
It's very expensive. Okay, so for example, I have this friend. She have this unicorn cake.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know why lah, but unicorn was very popular for a period of time. So just for that particular unicorn itself, I think it's just like a cutout or icing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It cost her $50 just for that unicorn.
Oh, okay.
And I thought like, okay, no, I'm not gonna spend that kind of money. And so when I started digging deeper, right, I thought that okay, so if let's say I throw this party, then 10 years later I might just feel that like, oh yeah, I had a party, I had a nice unicorn cake maybe.
Yeah.
But that's about it, right? And even those people that I invited to my party, who is to say that these are people I will still continue be in touch with?
Yeah, you never know lah.
Yeah, we never know, correct. But the thing is that like, I realized for birthday parties, the host, him or herself, is always very busy.
Yeah.
You don't really get to
have meaningful interactions with your friends that matter to you, that are close to you.
Right, that's right. So, and I thought that, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to do something memorable for myself. And so I thought, okay, I want to go backpacking solo.
So you did that during your poly days?
No, I did it during my uni days.
Before matriculating, or was it as like a summer holiday?
During the summer holidays.
Okay.
And so that was one of the
How
things.
many countries do you go to?
I did not count, but mainly it's Southeast Asia, Asia, and Europe. Yeah, so I was always traveling somewhere whenever it's summer or winter holidays. I felt that like, okay, so in uni we have this 3 months and 1 month break, which I will definitely not be able to get once I start working, right?
Yes.
I should make full use of that.
So where are you going next?
I think maybe to the monastery for the Vipassana.
Oh really?
But I don't know whether can I do it because of work schedule or not.
I mean, you have leave, right?
I have leave, yes.
So is your long term, would you want to do more traveling in your line of work, in your industry? I mean, it is possible to, like hospitality, you can go to other countries to work. Would it be something that you're interested in, like working overseas, traveling around, or not being just fixed in one spot in Singapore?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that if the opportunity arises to be able to work overseas, that would be very good. So, for example, last year in December, I was just in China. I went to Shenzhen and Guangzhou. Yeah. And I was very fortunate to be able to go for a company visit at Tencent.
Oh, that's nice.
I was so surprised by how
modern is it? China is, or what?
No, just in terms of the technology.
Yeah.
How technology is so much ingrained in them. So, for example, right, for the first time in my life, I felt that cash was inconvenient.
Yeah, cash is inconvenient.
As in Singapore, it's just okay lah. I still have hawker center and all, so you use it's okay, right? And people accept it and all. But when I was in China, I just feel like it's so inconvenient to be carrying cash for myself and for the service provider. So I remember very clearly when I went to this particular bookshop and I wanted to buy a book which cost maybe let's say 36 yuan. Yeah. So that is around 7,000 Sing, right? And I didn't have exact change. I only had 50 yuan and I wanted to give it to them. And they told me, sorry, I don't have change. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I cannot use the cashless app payments also.
Because you're there for a while only.
Correct.
But now you can, right? Now you can.
Because of the Alipay, right?
Yeah, because of Alipay, yeah.
Yeah. So I learned my lesson lah. Then so I just feel that like, wow, there's just so much to learn overseas by being there and just exploring. So for example, one of my friends who went for this trip also, they said that one day we were walking around the streets in China and then we realized that this shop assistants just started throwing things out to people, to the crowds. Okay. And then they asked me, what do you think they're doing? So I thought, okay, I think maybe they're doing pull marketing. You know how Daniel taught us that there's push and pull in marketing, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I felt that, hey, that's a very good way to attract people to come in.
Okay, so what are you throwing?
I can't remember. I think they were just showing some freebies and stuff like this.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but there was a crowd, and that's the whole point, correct?
Sounds like a very China way of marketing.
I don't know, but you don't see this in Singapore.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so I feel that like this is a very good opportunity for us to learn from other countries. Yeah.
In your work, have you traveled anywhere else?
Not at the moment.
Not at the
yet.
moment.
Yeah.
Which country would you want to go to next?
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
Why Sri Lanka?
I don't know though. It's just I just thought of the tea plantations and the beaches.
So nature is something that appeals to you.
Nature, definitely nature. Yeah.
Okay, in terms of the top 3 general traveling tips that you will give to someone, right? And maybe advice that would be specific to ladies who are traveling alone or in a group, in a sense. What kind of things would you want them to look out for?
Definitely number 1 is your safety, very important. So for me, I try not to take flights that arrive at the destination at night.
Oh yes, even me.
I don't know, as in, because to me there is this psychological thing that goes on, like okay, if I arrive late at night, then it tends to be more dangerous.
Yes.
So I try to avoid that. Second is your clothing. You don't need to be wearing makeup every day or wearing very nice, because you don't want to attract the wrong attention, especially if you're traveling alone.
Wear more lapsap, is it?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's how I usually travel.
Okay.
Just like a plain t-shirt, elephant pants and slippers.
Maybe a bit beggarish also, but I kind of say
Very
not so 夸张 lah, not so 夸张. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So because it's very obvious you look different from the locals, right? That is already something that will attract people's attention. And since if safety is a priority, you don't want to attract unwanted attention, and that can be mitigated through your dressing. Yeah. And the last thing is, don't bring too much valuables or things that really, really have a very important meaning, like sentimental or what sorts of meaning to you, because chances are you might lose it when you're traveling, and you don't want to be thinking that I should not have brought it with me or stuff like this. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Veron, for coming, right? In terms of the best advice you have ever received, what would it be?
In terms of?
In general. What is the best advice have you ever received?
Just be yourself.
Worst advice you have ever received?
Oh, I don't think you can do it lah.
Why would you say that?
I think
Age is something that is deterrent, is it?
yeah, that was something that I think someone told me before. Yeah, and I just felt that like, okay, maybe you might not be able to do whatever is possible at a certain age, but you should not project it onto someone else.
1 year from now, right? What are the tangible things that will need to happen to you to make it the best year for your career or life in general?
Taking out more challenges and seeing how things can impact customers as well as the company.
Veron, thanks so much for joining me in this podcast, right? If there's anyone who's interested in reaching out to you in terms of, I think you have a blog, right? I think I was seeing through
I have
for
a
a while,
website,
right?
yes.
Like how can people reach out to you?
Oh, okay. So you can reach out to me through my mix site. So it's the Velvet. Yeah.
Okay, I'll
it's
link
also
it
in
up.
my LinkedIn profile.
I'll link it up in the video description. But yeah, thanks so much for coming. I think we can stay in touch, lah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, like what you said this afternoon, right? I mean, just now that after graduation, we don't force. Technically, this is like an occasion to force myself to meet past networks as well. So I think it's quite meaningful to have these conversations. And yeah, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.